The Brett family lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Mr. and Mrs. Brett had one daughter, Amy, who was 7 years old. Amy loved animals more than anything in the world. Her bedroom was filled with stuffed animals, posters of wild creatures, and books about animals from all over the globe. Her parents had promised her a special treat for her birthday, a trip to the big city zoo. Amy could hardly contain her excitement as the day approached. She talked about the trip nonstop, wondering which animals she would see and what adventures awaited her. On the morning of the trip, Amy woke up early, her eyes sparkling with joy. She dressed in her favorite animal-themed shirt and eagerly waited by the door. "Are we ready to go, Mom and Dad?" Amy asked, bouncing on her toes. "Almost, sweetheart," her mother replied with a smile. "We just need to pack a few more things." Mr. Brett loaded their picnic basket into the car, and soon they were on their way. The drive to the zoo was filled with laughter and chatter as Amy imagined all the animals she would meet. When they arrived at the zoo, Amy was overwhelmed by the sheer size of the place. She grabbed her parents' hands and led them through the entrance, her eyes wide with wonder. They started their adventure by visiting the monkey exhibit. Amy giggled at the playful antics of the monkeys as they swung from branch to branch. Next, they visited the reptile house, where Amy marveled at the snakes and lizards. She pressed her nose against the glass, fascinated by the scales and colors of the reptiles. After that, they saw the elephants, giraffes, and zebras, each exhibit more exciting than the last. Lunchtime came and the family found a shady spot under a tree to enjoy their picnic. As they ate, they talked about their favorite animals so far. Amy's parents loved seeing her so happy and full of life. After lunch, they continued their exploration. Amy had been waiting for this moment all day, the lion exhibit. Lions were her favorite animals. She had read countless books about them and even had a lion costume she wore on special occasions. She led her parents to the lion enclosure, her heart pounding with excitement. When they arrived, Amy's eyes widened as she saw the majestic lions lounging in the sun. The male lion with his magnificent mane looked regal and powerful. The lionesses were graceful and strong. Amy watched in awe, captivated by their presence. As they stood there, a zookeeper approached them. He wore a khaki uniform and had a friendly smile. "Hello, folks," he greeted them. "My name is Tom, and I'm one of the lion keepers here. Are you enjoying your visit?" "Yes, very much," Amy exclaimed. "I love lions. They're my favorite animals." Tom chuckled. "That's wonderful to hear. How would you like to learn more about them?" Amy's eyes lit up. "Yes, please." Tom began to tell them fascinating facts about the lions. He explained their behavior, diet, and the importance of conservation efforts. Amy listened intently, absorbing every word. As Tom spoke, he noticed how enthusiastic Amy was and had an idea. "How would you like a special opportunity to help feed the lions?" Tom asked with a twinkle in his eye. Amy's jaw dropped. "Really? I can feed the lions?" Mr. and Mrs. Brett exchanged a glance, a mix of excitement and concern in their eyes. "Is it safe?" Mrs. Brett asked. "Absolutely," Tom reassured them. "We have a special feeding platform that's completely secure. You'll be perfectly safe, and it will be an unforgettable experience for Amy." Amy's parents nodded, and Tom led them to a behind-the-scenes area. They walked through a gate and down a path that led to a large, elevated platform. From there, they had a clear view of the lion enclosure. Tom handed Amy a long stick with a piece of meat attached to the end. "Hold on tight to this, and we'll lift it over the fence for the lions." Amy's hands trembled with excitement as she gripped the stick. With her parents standing close by, Tom helped her lift the stick over the fence. Almost immediately, one of the lionesses approached, her keen senses detecting the scent of food. The lioness moved gracefully, her eyes fixed on the meat. Amy watched in awe as the lioness took the meat from the stick with her powerful jaws. She could feel the strength and grace of the animal even from a safe distance. It was an incredible experience, one that Amy knew she would remember forever. Tom guided Amy through feeding another piece of meat to the lions, explaining more about their eating habits and the care they required. Amy listened intently, fascinated by every detail. As the feeding session ended, Tom praised Amy for her bravery and enthusiasm. "You did a fantastic job, Amy. The lions seemed to like you." Amy beamed with pride. "Thank you, Tom. This was the best day ever." Tom smiled warmly. "I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's important for people to understand and appreciate these magnificent animals. You've shown a lot of respect and curiosity, which is wonderful to see." Mr. and Mrs. Brett thanked Tom for the unforgettable experience. As they walked back to the main part of the zoo, Amy couldn't stop talking about the lions and how amazing it was to feed them. The sun was beginning to set as the Brett family made their way back to their car. They were tired but happy, filled with memories of a day well spent. Amy held a small souvenir, a lion keychain that Tom had given her, as a reminder of her incredible adventure. On the drive home, Amy's parents listened as she recounted every detail of the lion feeding experience. They could hear the joy and excitement in her voice, and it made them smile. "Thank you for the best birthday ever," Amy said, her eyes heavy with sleep, but her heart full of happiness. "You're welcome, sweetheart," Mr. Brett replied, glancing at his daughter in the rearview mirror. "We're glad you had such a wonderful time." When they arrived home, Amy could hardly keep her eyes open. Her parents helped her get ready for bed, and she slipped into her lined pajamas, clutching her new keychain. As they tucked her in, Amy looked up at her parents with a sleepy smile. "Can we go back to the zoo again someday?" she asked. "Of course we can," Mrs. Brett replied, brushing a strand of hair from Amy's forehead. "We'll have many more adventures together." Amy nodded, satisfied, and closed her eyes. Her dreams that night were filled with lions and laughter, the memory of her special day etched in her heart. The next morning, Amy woke up with a big smile on her face. She ran downstairs to find her parents already having breakfast. "Good morning," she greeted them cheerfully. "Good morning, Amy," her father replied. "Did you sleep well?" "Yes, I dreamed about the lions," Amy said, her eyes sparkling. "That's wonderful, sweetie," her mother said. "You were so brave yesterday. We're really proud of you." Amy beamed at the praise. "Can we tell my friends about it?" "Of course," Mr. Brett said. "Why don't we invite them over this weekend, and you can share your adventure with them?" Amy nodded eagerly. She couldn't wait to tell her friends about her incredible experience at the zoo. That weekend, Amy's friends came over for a playdate. She excitedly showed them her lion keychain and recounted the entire story of feeding the lions. Her friends listened with wide eyes, hanging on to every word. "Wow, that sounds amazing," one of her friends exclaimed. "I wish I could feed the lions too." Amy smiled proudly. "Maybe we can all go to the zoo together someday." The children spent the rest of the afternoon playing games and pretending to be different animals. Amy led them in a game where they pretended to be lions, crawling on all fours and roaring playfully. As the days passed, Amy's fascination with lions grew even stronger. She borrowed more books about lions from the library and watched documentaries with her parents. She even started drawing pictures of lions, filling her sketchbook with images of the majestic creatures. One day, Amy's art teacher at school noticed her drawings. "These are wonderful, Amy," she said. "You have a real talent for drawing animals. Have you ever thought about becoming a wildlife artist?" Amy's eyes lit up. "A wildlife artist? That sounds amazing." "I would love to draw animals all the time." Her teacher smiled. "Keep practicing, and who knows? Maybe one day you'll become a famous wildlife artist and help raise awareness about animal conservation." Amy took her teacher's words to heart. She continued to draw and learn about animals, dreaming of a future where she could combine her love for art and animals. Her parents supported her passion, encouraging her every step of the way. Years later, Amy's dream became a reality. She grew up to become a talented wildlife artist, using her artwork to inspire others and raise awareness about the importance of protecting animals and their habitats.